just trying to articulate this. Before repression, I'm not angry. Coming out of repression, it's like, oh yeah, I'm angry. And I'm afraid to express the anger. And then seeing more deeply, no, I have to be angry. Oh, I've had to be angry all my life. I've had to be afraid all my life. Insight. Because now, and that, by the way, that's contraction, see? So going back, the anger was repressed. The fear was unprocessed. So that was unconsciously creating visible suffering, visible chronic pain, visible triggers, suffering, depression, whatever. I did not know that I had to be angry and afraid all my life. I had to come out of repression to see that. So when I was in repression, the I have to be angry and afraid created triggers, as I said, shadows and pain. Coming out of repression, shadows, triggers, pain, all that left. Whatever was left. Why? Because I saw that I have to be angry and afraid. So how I started to address things in my life was, if I saw a trigger or I saw pain, I was like, oh yeah, I created this. I created this so that I could be angry and afraid. Of course. Chester, I didn't give birth to my husband, but I created this. I sought him out, not because he was just attractive or beautiful or whatever, but because I'm angry and afraid and I didn't know it. And when I met him, I saw something. My unconscious saw something in him. I can use this creation. I wasn't aware of it. To be traumatized, to suffer, to get love and stay safe. And I was in repression, so I didn't know that my unconscious was angry and afraid in choosing him, a sadness repressor who was hurt and afraid. We were shadows for each other. I created that. During the time that I was in repression with him, at times getting triggered by his anger, but I created that. See, but when you're awake, you create that relationship so you can wake up. If you're not asleep, if you're asleep to it, if you don't process it, that's just suffering. It could be a lot of suffering, actually. But if you process it, it's like, oh shit, I created this so that I could wake up and embody this. Wow, that's powerful. Or like, going to the doctor. Here I have anger repression creating chronic pain. The doctor doesn't know what he's doing. And I get angry. I'm like, oh shit, I created this. So I could be angry and afraid. But until I came out of repression, I couldn't own it. I couldn't make it conscious. So I kept suffering in pain and otherwise. But now it's like, oh yeah, I created this doctor situation so I could be angry. Let me be angry. I'm angry. I'm afraid. Now I'm living in alignment. Now I'm making things conscious. Now is the end of suffering. Before, it was awareness plus trauma. Now it's freedom. Driving down the road. When I was in anger repression, I can't get angry. That anger, those road ragers, God, they're fucked up, aren't they? I'm just so peaceful. I don't create havoc on the road. Remember, because I have to be good. I have to be good. I have to be good. That's the identity. So coming out of repression, fuck you. Why did you fucking just... And I'm happy about it. I'm like, thank you. I can express anger. But I didn't see yet that I have to be angry and afraid. And when I did that, it all fell apart. The road rage and everything. I created that so I could get angry and afraid. So I just get angry and afraid consciously. And then there's nothing left. Just joy. Joy driving. Joy riding. Or just presence. I forgot about that. And then next time the road rage comes, it's like, I mean, I need to get angry because I have to be angry and afraid, but it's like, come on, I'm creating all this. Please. Or like, it's a funny one. I created this work, Dan and I did. And then as part of it, there's an organization and my team members would like to have meetings. But I don't want to do meetings because I don't like business part of it. I just like to talk about inquiry. But I created that so I could be angry and afraid. So I go to the meetings and I'm like, I don't really want to be here. I created this so I could be angry and afraid. But now that I'm out of repression, it's just like, oh yeah, because the reason I don't want to go is because I'm angry to just be angry and afraid consciously. Okay, Now I want to do the meeting. Now I want to be here. I just lying to myself. I thought it was triggers or stories, not to do with triggers or stories. I have to be angry and afraid. That's why the triggers and the stories are there. I mean, it's quite a love affair that we get in, isn't it? Just coming back to relationship. Just coming back and forth to things. Two people get together and they're each doing their sabotage dance. I have to be angry and afraid. How about you? Well, I have to be angry and afraid and bury it. I'd like to date you. What do you think? Well, I have to be hurt and afraid. I have to bury it. Yeah, let's go. And so we get into a relationship and you're sabotaging over there and I'm sabotaging over there and neither one of us knows why or how. But we know it's happening. And now we know why. Because you have to be sad and afraid and I have to be angry and afraid. So basically we're creating each other. We're creating the entire thing so that we can do that and suffer and stay safe and get love. And call it sabotage. But it's not. I mean, it is. But we're creating that. That's what we want until we don't anymore. For some reason we want to suffer. It's survival is what it is. It's not for some reason. It's survival. It's stay safe, get love. The system has been hijacked in that way to think that this is how we survive. This has nothing to do with survival. It's just emotional safety. But still, the dance continues. The dance of sabotage. So how do you undo sabotage? You have to become conscious. This is the thing. I'm going to start talking about sabotage now because you don't have to do anything. You are manifestation. You're the world. Just remove the blocks, which are you're generating it. You're generating sabotage through identity and repression and trauma, and you have to. And you will not be able to manifest as long as you have to. So remove those and then manifest. You may have to take some additional action, right, to manifest. But once the blocks are removed, you can take the action. If the block is there or if you think there are circumstances outside of you that are stopping you, those are things that you can overcome. There are certain limitations, of course, with just the world, the relative world. But most of it is us doing it to ourselves. And that is so much clearer for me now. And I'm going to talk about it in the course of relationship and work and career and everything because it's everywhere. And spiritual practice. Because we're creating it. So you guys have come into KI so you can be angry and afraid. I did too. I created KI so I could just be angry and afraid. At times at KI. And at myself. And so you came here and created KI, just like everything, so you could be sad and afraid. And sometimes you'll put that sadness or hurt and fear on me because you came here to do that, some of you. Or you'll put the anger on me because you created me for that. But if you wake up and see it, that you created me for that, and you created KI for that, you'll see it's not about me or KI. It's about you creating that, and then you making that conscious. And then you won't get stuck. But if you think it's outside of you, you'll sabotage even this path. Money. I want to talk about that in the future here because I've been creating that earlier in my life. I mean, I do okay. I'm fine now. I don't have problems with money. Every now and then, if just because the waves of the market and people, we might not bring in as much one month or the other. But God, I've had a history with money going further back and not realizing that I created it all. So that collective, universal kind of lack thing where it's a feeling of like, I'm not going to have enough. We create that so that we can be anxious because we think if we're anxious and fearful, we'll have enough. And we know that, but now we can make all that conscious. Whereas before we might intuit it or have that insight, but not be able to transform around it because you can't make the unconscious conscious. But here we can because it's the same thing. So any money situation that you're created that. So you could be afraid and hurt or afraid and angry, but probably not open to it, which creates your identity and your suffering and your survival. It's strange, isn't it? It's like I suffer to make money so that I can survive. it doesn't work. Or I suffer in this relationship to get love and stay safe, but I suffer. It doesn't work. And I do the same thing everywhere else, and it doesn't work. So stay tuned, because I am super excited about the sabotage thing. For years, this has been intuitive for me, but the final parts of this were elusive until this was embodied more. But yeah, stay tuned.